she snapped. Quit acting like we're married. You don't control where I go or who I'm with. The room laughed. I kept quiet and smiled, but when she returned from her weekend getaway, her key didn't fit. Lauren and I had been together for 2 years, and she'd been living in my house for 6 months. My name was on the deed, the utility bills, everything. She had 3 best friends I secretly called the Sirens, who treated my home like their personal clubhouse and found it hilarious whenever she put me down. Last Friday, I was making dinner when Lauren breezed into the kitchen, phone glued to her ear, already dressed to go out. She was talking loudly with the Sirens about a weekend coastal trip. Absolutely, I'm totally in, she said. A weekend trip is just what I need. No, he's not coming. Don't be absurd. She hung up and smiled. Great news. The girls and I are off to the coast this weekend. We leave tomorrow. Cool, I said, stirring the chili. Which beach are you heading to? It was a basic question, the kind any reasonable person might ask. But Lauren looked at me like I'd asked her to solve calculus in Latin. She let out a sharp, mocking laugh and turned to Kay, who'd just walked in. Can you believe this guy? She said, rolling her eyes. He wants to know where I'm going. Kay smirked. Lauren spun back to me, hands on her hips, and delivered the line that changed everything. Quit acting like we're husband and wife. You don't get to dictate where I go or who I'm with. The Sirens, now all in my kitchen, burst into laughter. They found it hysterically funny that a man in his own home was being told he had no right to ask a simple question. I stood there clutching a ladle with chili dripping onto my tiles. I didn't lose my temper. I didn't argue. A strange, peaceful calm settled over me. I looked at her smug expression and gave her a wide, empty grin. You're absolutely right, I said. My bad. They laughed again, thinking I'd caved. Lauren gave me a patronizing pat on the shoulder, and they all swept out for pre-trip happy hour. I stood in the kitchen, alone. All right, I muttered. Not married, no say, noted. The moment her car vanished down the street Friday afternoon, I got to work. First, I headed next door to Mrs. Larson, an 82-year-old widow with a gossip network that could rival a spy agency. I brought her blueberry pie and laid out the situation, repeating Lauren's exact words. That brazen little minx, she said. Don't worry, Jake, I've got this. When Lauren returned locked out, Mrs. Larson would act puzzled and drop key details about my weekend activities. She embraced the role like a theater star. Next came Operation Single Guy Sanctuary. For 6 months, my house had been overrun with neutral-toned cushions, useless decorative trays, and abstract art. Time to reclaim my space. I packed Lauren's stuff with flair. Boxes labeled fancy attire for events I wasn't invited to. And my masterpiece, glittery gowns that shed sparkles on everything I own. Her 40 pairs of stilettos went into orthopedic disasters. By Saturday morning, every trace of her was packed. I hired movers and hauled it all to a storage unit, paying for 1 month. Then the real fun began. I replaced the bland gray rug with one designed like a basketball court, sold her sterile cream sofa and bought a massive brown leather recliner with a dozen cup holders. Her glass coffee table was swapped for a retro arcade game that glowed but didn't function. I took down the bedroom wall hanging and put up a framed poster of a wolf howling at the moon. My final move, I visited the animal shelter and came home with Max, a 130-pound Newfoundland puppy who immediately claimed the new couch. I changed all the locks and updated my Wi-Fi to buy your own internet with the password NotWed. Sunday evening around 8:30 p.m., my video doorbell pinged. There was Lauren, sun-kissed from her escape, strolling up to the door. She tried her key. It fit, but wouldn't turn. Confusion, then frustration. She started pounding and calling my phone. I watched it buzz and hit ignore 6 times. After frantic banging, she gave up. Then Mrs. Larson appeared in her robe, right on schedule. Oh, Lauren, is that you? Mrs. Larson called. Everything all right? My key's broken, Lauren said desperately. Is Jake home? Oh, Jake's home, Mrs. Larson said knowingly. He's had a fantastic weekend. A real overhaul. He said you two aren't married and he doesn't get a say in your life, so he celebrated his freedom. Redecorated the whole place. It's a man's house now. And he adopted a dog, a huge boy named Max. Said he wanted a companion who's loyal and doesn't argue. Lauren's jaw dropped. She pressed her nose to my window, eyes widening as she took in the basketball rug, arcade game, and Max sprawled on the couch. She let out a noise that was half scream, half wail. I sent one calm text. You said to stop acting like we're married. You said I don't get a say. I agree. This is my house and you don't get a say in how I live. Your stuff is safe at Storage Lane, Unit 17. You've got 1 month. Then I blocked her number. She screamed and hurled her phone onto my lawn.